All right, welcome everybody. Let's do a recap here for this Friday's trading. Pretty slow day. Coming into it, I mentioned that I didn't want to go too heavy today, only because Fridays can be kind of iffy. I didn't like the action that I was seeing on the stocks. Market was down. The indices were down, and then they were all over the place. We'll get into that, but I did start off today with a short crude. But before we get started, little disclaimer here, folks. I am not a trading advisor. What I'm doing here is I'm just showing you my style on how I trade. I've been a 40-year trader. I have my own tools that I use based off of patterns and a formula that was shown to me way back in the late 80s. I call that, well, he called it actually the Einstein formula. And I have my patterns that I call behavioral patterns, and I use a combination of both. Patterns are what sets up the trade, and Einstein is what provides me with the targets. All right. Sometimes we have multiple patterns setting up at the same time, and they all provide different levels of targets. Sometimes we only get one, maybe we only get two targets. Okay. What target I decide to exit at is dependent upon how long I want to hold on to the trade. I don't like to hold on to trades too long, but if the market's kind of quiet, I may hold on to it and go for a bigger target. It's just, there is no set rule on that. It's all going to be done by the individual trader. Also, if you're following me on my live morning show, I don't suggest that you blindly follow me, nor do I suggest you blindly follow anybody else. Trading doesn't work that way. The thing is, you must learn how to be an individual trader. Following somebody, it just doesn't work. You will end up losing money that way because there's a lot that goes into trading. And the biggest part of it is the mental discipline, number one, and number two, being confident of the tools that you're using. If you're not confident or feel that the tools that you're using are going to hold up into the future, then it's very hard to stick with them. So you've got to have reliable tools. All right. So that being said, also don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Never, ever, ever trade or start off trading mine or anybody else's approach unless you start in a simulator account or a demo account. If you can't be profitable in a simulator or demo account, you're not going to be profitable in a real account. So you must be profitable first through practice, and then once you have that down, then you might be ready to start trading real money. And also, never trade money you can't afford to lose. All right, this is a tough game. Only 2 to 4% of the people that trade make money, and the big part of it is not only the tools, but the mental discipline as well. All right, that being said, let's look at my crude trade. So I did start off, I did have a buy entry on crude. I pretty much bought the high of this move here. But I did have a target. Now, this green line is something that is produced by Einstein. That was my target. I only had one level up here. I was going to go for this one level, so the idea was not to hold it very long, but it never came up. I pretty much bought it on the high. But then the momentum changed, and I did get a short. So as it was coming down, we started getting some sell patterns. Now, this particular sell pattern had multiple levels. I went ahead and I got out at level number one, but I added to the position. The reason I added is I was looking at natural gas. Natural gas was also down. So I didn't have any inclination that natural gas was going to be coming up. It was already in a down move, so I didn't have any sells on natural gas, which I really like. I think I played natural gas yesterday. I really like natural gas, but in this case, the sales came in a long time ago. So that's why I went ahead and I added. I ended up reversing on my long, took a loss on this position here. I had a target down here, and I went ahead and I got out. All right. So, yeah, it could have gone lower, but with this kind of market, it also being a Friday, Fridays can be iffy. Now, Fridays can be really good sometimes. But in most of the cases, it can get, as we go from the very beginning of the day in the morning, as we go slower and we go into the afternoon, then things start to get really choppy. So I really didn't want to hold it too long. I wanted to get in and get out. So that was my crude trade, okay? Let's see, crude trade. So what, $444. All right, so let's take a look at the other trade that I put on this morning. If you were there, it was the mini NASDAQ. Okay, which I did take a loss in the mini NASDAQ, and I'll show you how that loss developed and how I kind of recovered from those two trades. All right, so this is a 1 minute chart of the mini NASDAQ. And I entered my first trade. Okay, it was a short. I liked the short, but the market was really choppy. Okay, so my initial short that I put in and came in around somewhere around 820 or something like that. This is going to be East Coast time, Eastern time. So I sold it. This was my target sitting down here, level 1. All right. So that was going to be where I was going to go ahead and exit. But the market never turned, and I was holding on to this trade for, gosh, an hour, and this thing was just not going anywhere. And all of a sudden, we started spiking. We had another setup on the buy side. So I went ahead, got out, took my loss. I reversed on the buy. Okay. I did add, but I didn't add enough to cover my loss. And it did have a profit target. Once again, this was another Einstein level here. I took my Einstein level and took my profit. It came back down again. We got another short at the same level. I did not take this short. I wish I had taken that short. It was a beautiful short. And that actually hit the level. But what I ended up doing instead is, as you can see over here on the mini Russell, I kind of played it out the same way, okay? Took a loss on the mini Russell on the short. I reversed and went long, and I closed out on that. But the big one came when we finally started spiking. Everything was going down. Mini Russell is actually one of my favorites. I love the mini Russell. I really got aggressive with the mini Russell, and I still ended up making $600. So overall, trading with crude, mini Russell, mini NASDAQ, just those three, I still netted 717. So not a huge day, but consider it's a Friday. And then pretty much after that, I was done. I did want to keep playing because honestly, I was a little spooked about the way the market was acting. And I really saw it in the stocks. So let's take a look at the stocks. And but I'd never had any real indication that we were going to have, you know, any really big moves. Everything was just kind of really choppy. There's very few stocks that I saw that I really like, that I felt that they were going to, you know, just blast off. And there was a lot of selling opportunity. But once again, you know, that's why I get aggressive on my shorts, because I love selling. But there was a lot of selling opportunity in stocks, but I'm not taking shorts on stocks right now. So I didn't take advantage of it, but I took advantage of it with the indices. And so I love the indices. Also, if you're wondering about these numbers and everything, I actually trade on Nadex. I use the Nadex exchange. Nadex is, it's US regulated exchange. I've been trading with them for years. I love Nadex. There's definitely some advantages of using Nadex over just outright trading spot. You can trade, you know, it's up to you how you want to trade. I just find using Nadex is a lot easier when it comes to trading the indices and trading these commodities. I am limited. I'm not going to be a guy that wants to trade pork bellies, though I've traded cotton bellies, sugar, you name it. I've traded everything in the past. But my preference is really focused on natural gas, crude oil, and the indices. So like the mini NASDAQ, mini Dow, mini Russell, and the E-mini S&P. Those are my preferences. And I can certainly do that with Nadex. Okay, so now let's take a look at our stocks. You don't trade stocks on Nadex. So let's take a look at the stocks, see how we did with the stocks. All right, so here we go. Here's what I did in stocks. If you're with me this morning, you know my first entry was UVXY. It's the only one I took during the live morning show. I did take an additional one as well. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. But UVXY, okay, so, there wasn't really anything moving here, so I didn't want to get too aggressive with UVXY. So I went ahead and I entered UVXY, and here we go again. Well, first of all, I did have 3 different levels. I had 3 patterns setting up. 1, 2, 3. So I was expecting this thing to come up to 626, but you could see how long we went. We went, gosh, I entered this somewhere around 918. Yeah, and I got it right over here. Okay, so once we hit level 1, that's level 1, level 2, level 3. Once we hit level 1, okay, and we hit level 2, I mean, at this point, of course, you know, you're not seeing all of this, right? It looked like we were going to 3. I thought we were going to 3, and then when it failed, when I had that, you can see that failed, that little wick there, that's failed price there, and it started to come back down to my first level. I said, you know what? I'm getting out. I don't want to hold on to this thing. I've been holding on to this thing for over an hour. I went ahead and I took my profit. I didn't make much, obviously. You know, 43 bucks. Okay. And after the morning show in the live room, I went ahead and I bought a UI. I didn't get in. I didn't have much on, but at one point I had $200. When I saw that I had a $200 profit because it had already hit a couple levels, I got out. All right. But what I wasn't paying attention to was that spread between the bid and the ask. And I just got a ton of slippage. I was like, what just happened? Because when I saw 200, and I use hotkeys for everything. So, you know, I use an F1, F2, F3, F4, whatever. I can hit one key and it automatically gets me out of everything. I can cover part of it. I can cover all of it. I could have you know, when I saw that the market was moving, it had some pretty decent volume coming in, but I wasn't paying attention to the bid and the ask spread. And next thing I know is instead of making $200 on it, I ended up making only $50. So overall, stocks were, once again, I mean, it didn't really do anything. You see that kind of bag, I said, man, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to mess with this. I think eventually it actually came back. Let me see here. Yeah, it did eventually come back and hit that level. Never came back to entry price. So it did eventually come up and hit level 3, but I wasn't going to play because that would have been what? That's almost another, gosh, that'd been like another hour waiting for it to come up. Nah, I don't think so. So usually if you don't hit it right away, then I'm typically going to get out of it. You know, unless I have a longer term play and I'm willing to hold on to it if I'm really confident that it's going to be coming up, then I will hold it. But it being a Friday, if it was a Monday, maybe I would have held it, or a Tuesday or Wednesday. But on a Friday, no, I'm not going to hold it because it could have been a wash. I don't even know if it washed. Let's see here. What did it do? I mean, look at that. It stayed up pretty much all day, and then it went into a little bit of night. So, yeah, I mean, they never really flushed out on that stock. So, anyway, I didn't want to take that chance. So anyway, I mean, decent day, not a huge day, but a decent day nonetheless, being a Friday. So we will be back again, with all our subscribers on Sunday night. Sunday night, we try to focus on the Forex market. Sundays are one of my favorite nights, so we focus on some Forex. And then I guess, of course, we'll be back again on Monday morning, and we'll do the live show again. So please join us. You can help me out with my channel by hitting that thumbs up. Also, please subscribe. That helps me, lets me know that y'all want me to continue to do this. I am going to start providing as much information as I can to help you guys out and give you some ideas. We're going to be looking at some different things along the way. We'll be looking at Bookmap, which is kind of a cool application. It's kind of, a lot of people call it level 3. You've got level 2 when you trade stocks. You can look at level 3, but we can also do it for the indices. It's kind of really cool. So it's just another visual way. It's not really new information. This information has been out there for a long time, but it's a nice visual way of looking at it. And I'm a visual guy, so I think it's kind of cool as well. So instead of having to watch all these spikes down here, we can watch the little bubbles. So join me on Monday. I'm going to put that up. We're going to keep an eye on that a little bit, go through some things there to kind of help you guys out and get on the right track if you're not in our live trading room. And that's going to be it. So once again, everybody have a really nice weekend. Be careful. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll hopefully see you back first thing Monday morning. Take care.